From News Chopper 11, hovering just outside the Crab Nebula, it's nerd news from Asteroid G. You're listening to Not So Live from Asteroid G. I'm Mike Finkelstein. With me, as always, is
Josh Schaefer.
And Queen Bee.
So, this week we are doing nerd news because it is near the start of the month and it seems appropriate to do so. So we have a few things that we need to talk about, although the one that is breaking news that happened just over the weekend, and I'm sure came as a shock to a number of people, was the death of Black Panther Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah, where the fuck did that come from?
Apparently
Right?
it's been
So
happening
sad.
for years.
Yeah, he had colon cancer for the past 4 years, which means he was doing that shit in Black Panther
Yeah.
while doing treatments for colon cancer.
Yeah, so I mean, that kind of makes you appreciate everything about that character even more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that dude had literally poured his heart and soul into this.
He said it was an honor to be the character, so
Yeah.
it's a shock because, well, for one, I didn't realize the dude was 43. He looked much younger than that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Shit.
Chad Boseman. I mean, when I was told about it last night, I was like going, no.
Yeah.
And in the car today, when we were coming home, I was talking about everything like COVID and all this other kind of stuff. And then I said, and Chadwick Boseman's dead. And now what's the point of living? And my husband turns to me and says, Idris Elba. So
it's a valid answer. It is a valid
it's a valid answer.
Yeah. But
so
yeah.
I think that's, we still can look forward to Idris Elba, but, God rest in peace to the king.
It was definitely interesting, like, in that respect, though. First off, just realizing how old he actually was, because he was 43 when he died just over this weekend. And, like, he looks 27 in pictures. Like, the dude did not age. So, like, when you hear that he died, I'm sitting there going, oh my god, another one for the 27 club. But then, you go and you look it up, it's like, well, okay, and add 20 years to that. So, shit. No, and I mean, the fact that he was suffering from cancer, there's a part of you sitting there going, well, sad to lose him, but maybe he's better off, because that's suffering that he was having to go through.
Yeah. He's at peace regardless.
Yeah,
so.
that's kind of where I'm at. Like, it sucks. Definitely sucks, but he doesn't have to suffer the cancers that he's been going through this whole time anymore, and that might be, like a relief in some respect for him and for his family. Like, no one wants to lose a family member, but, like, in that regard,
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but it does mean that Marvel is going to have to figure out what to do with the character, because he's formative, and, like, the African-American community really appreciated having him, so, like, I don't know what they do. Like, you don't just recast him necessarily because, like, Chadwick Boseman is iconic in the role. In fact, the fact that he died from cancer while portraying the character, even if, it was between movies, you're now sitting there going, oh, crap, do they recast him? Do they just, like, focus on the sister instead? How do you handle that and do it with maturity and nuance without just being like, well, he's dead, ha ha ha, let's have a new Black Panther?
Well, I think there was talk about, for the second movie, they were going to end up killing off the character because he does die in the comic books, and having his sister become the new Black Panther, which would then also add a new female superhero to the mix, which I think is what they're trying to do with some things.
Especially since they want to get rid of Captain Marvel because they don't like the actress that they hired for her, Brie Larson.
I mean, I would hope that, since he did know that he was dying of cancer, that maybe he had already made an agreement with Marvel to use his likeness for one to get to that point,
or maybe
they could take
or
stuff,
something.
right?
Yeah.
Or to make stuff, or to bring stuff in from the first filming and see if they could have like parts.
I mean, it would be like if they did it in such a way where, he's introed, even if they recast him for a short couple sequences where he's introed, he does some stuff, and then there's like a political assassination attempt or something, and he's gone, and his sister has to take over. Like, it sucks that they have to recast him for that, but at least they're not, like, trying to, like, have a new actor embody the role for an entire movie or something. Shuri, that's his sister's, the character in the movie, she's fantastic. I loved her. So making her the new Black Panther is A-OK, totally tops in my book. I think she's going to be a great character to focus on. It's just, at the same time, that's a tough spot for Disney to get out of with that whole situation.
Yeah, it's very sad. I'm actually quite heartbroken for Chadwick Boseman and his family. So our prayers go to his family.
Yeah, if 2020 didn't suck enough, like there's just something so wholesome about that dude. Like whenever you've seen or saw him do anything, it was always like charity related or like just he just seemed like a cool guy. And
well, you see photos of him hanging out with Chris Evans, and you're sitting there going, yeah, no, I could see that. They both seem like really wholesome dudes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even when they play bad guys, you're like, there's a certain charm to you that's not really that bad. You're an acceptable bad guy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
He's not a bad guy. He's a good guy at his heart.
I can see where he's coming from.
Well, but Chadwick did like some like really cool things. Like when Black Panther first came out, he bought multiple theaters and filled them with like neighborhood kids and whatnot, so they have a chance to see Black Panther. And I don't know. It just seems like a lot more genuine than just doing. It's like, oh, I made a movie.
Yeah, no, he definitely seemed genuine. He definitely seemed like he cared about that character. The stories coming out about how he fought for the specific, more African accent because Wakanda wasn't conquered by Europe, unlike other African nations. So that colonial aspect was there, so he shouldn't have a European accent because his countrymen wouldn't have a European accent. Like, he cared about the character. So.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah,
definitely leaves the hole in the.
It does. It leaves a hole in the lineup, and if they want to use Black Panther as a main character, they're definitely going to have to push up having Shuri take over that role, and have her be opposite whoever else it is that's going to be at the front line for Marvel at that point. Spider-Man, obviously, apparently not Captain Marvel after her next movie. Certain rumors that Scarlet Witch is going to be promoted up to a larger role, which is kind of weird if you read her in the comics because she's not really lead role material.
No, well, I mean, they did. I think the only thing that she did that was like lead role was the House of M storyline.
Exactly, where she's a bad guy. Like, it's really weird to be like, hey, everyone likes Scarlet Witch, let's make her the lead of the Avengers. Like, did you guys read your own comics? Really? She goes insane and wipes away half the mutants in the world. What is your plan here with her? I'm confused.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad I didn't invest time in Captain Marvel though, because I haven't watched that movie.
It's worth watching it just for Coulson and for Sammy J. But on its own, it's rough. Like, it's okay, but it's not great. And I think my biggest issue with that superhero is she has power creep. So that by the end of it, she's way too powerful for the people she's fighting. So it unbalances her at the end of her movie. And actually, if you've watched Avengers Endgame, it unbalances kind of like that climactic sequence as well because she's just way too strong.
Yeah.
Yeah, power creep is a thing.
So you said that there were issues with Brie Larson and Disney?
Yes. Well, she's very outspoken, and she's very controlling about the version of the character she wants to present, which, if you've seen the if you've seen the Captain Marvel movie, kind of comes out in that there's people on one side, the same people that bitched about the representation in Star Wars, that are complaining that they feel like Marvel is just becoming a company of, and to use their term, SJWs, when it comes to their movies. And that they feel like it needs to be balanced out and the Marvel needs to refocus itself. And there are rumors that Disney is taking this to heart, like they did with the third of the sequel Star Wars movies, and are going to downplay the politics that was slowly getting cropped in and the number of minority and female-led characters and so forth. So it's that thing of, what is Disney actually thinking?
They just want... I mean... And I was telling people this back when they were like, oh, Disney's changing, Disney's inclusive. I was like, no, they're not. They see money signs. Like, they just want stacks on stacks on stacks. And
they listen to the outspoken people on the internet, which are also the idiots. Yeah. Oh, Black Panther made over $1 billion. Oh, Captain Marvel made over $1 billion. But you know what? These 5 internet nerds over here that are complaining about minorities, they clearly have their finger on the pulse of society.
Yeah, Disney is literally Jay and Silent Bob from Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. Like, they just read the reviews and they're like, oh, well,
we have to go over here and do something.
Yeah, like, but then they like give mixed messages and like I don't.
Well, it's that thing that always occurs to me where if they thought they could make more money than they would face in like people leaving the company over blowback, they would have already released Song of the South.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So it's how much money are they making in comparison to how much do they think they can make? So Black Panther is a character that everyone seemed to like. They will continue making Black Panther movies. Captain Marvel, despite making money, is not liked as well by certain factions of the internet. So they can retire her and find some other hero to fill her place that people might like, and they can continue going on to print money. But any of the messages they were trying to make or the fact that they were trying to be more inclusive, that is clearly not the goal of Disney.
No, their goal is to make sure their shareholders get a profit, like any other corporation.
And that's the thing of enough fans complained about the third Star Wars movie of the sequel trilogy that despite the fact that people were complaining about the second and the first one with its inclusion, Disney is now swinging in the other direction again and is like, well, clearly none of these work, so we need to now do something different. So the good news was they were going to fire Kathleen Kennedy, who shepherded these 3 awful movies through the chain. But their solution is to bring George Lucas back on, at least as an overseer, so that he can control the series again, which, of course, went so well when he was in charge of the prequel trilogy and the Clone Wars.
I think, when George Lucas was doing his second 3, it was when CBD was becoming popular. So I'm pretty sure that maybe he's gotten off of his drug-induced needing a Jar Jar Binks, and hopefully he can bring something back. Maybe he already has a plan. So who knows?
If he's smart, he'll assemble a team like he did for the first trilogy. And rely on their ideas. Because the second trilogy, the prequels, were clearly his own idea about what Star Wars should be. Kid-friendly, all about the technology of making the movies, which really, frankly, he's good at that, is finding new technological solutions and pushing them in his movies. It's just that I think he's the movie equivalent of a gearhead, and what he cares about is the method of making movies, and story is less essential to him.
And he's not a good director. Like, I'll give him, like, he's a good story writer. Like,
he's an idea man.
He's a good idea man.
Use the terrible thing right there.
Like, I know you hate that term, but he wrote, like, he has good ideas, and his stories weren't terrible. And I bet you if he didn't direct the prequels, and a director came in and was like, okay, Jar Jar Binks is incredibly racist and cheesy, so we're going to just cut this motherfucker out just altogether.
Yeah.
Anakin isn't going to be like 15 years younger than Padme. Like,
obviously,
so that's just
15
done.
years younger.
Okay, here's the reality, guys, is that Disney cannot pander to children. Stop pandering to children. Yeah. Children grow up, and if you want your movies to stay popular throughout the years, you have to pander to adults because adults are the ones who are paying for those movies.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many times where a new Disney movie came out and I went, you know what? I'm not even interested because it's not even the quality of their last really good set of films, which were Lion King, Mermaid, and Beauty and the Beast. They started being really stupid. After that.
Yeah.
I like Frozen. I even like Frozen 2, but you gotta, if you're gonna make a movie, Trolls is not the way to go.
In my opinion, like some of the best Disney movies are the ones where you have someone who's actually passionate about the topic and not just about the technology or not just I'm here to make money. Like that's what worked about the Disney Renaissance was you had singer-songwriters who really cared about the material they were working on. It's what worked about Wreck-It Ralph is because you had a couple people involved who really cared about the history of video games and retro video gaming, and they wanted to write a love letter to that. But then anytime Disney is about corporate greed, you can see it, as in Wreck-It Ralph 2.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's all across the board, too, because, like I kind of like the relaunch Star Trek films that J.J. Abrams started, but I knew that they were going to be a hot pile of near garbage when he was like, I don't really like Star Trek that much. I've never really been a fan.
Yeah, and that guides us into the next topic that's worth talking about. While Star Wars is having its own issues, Star Trek is having its issues as well. So thank you for the segue, Josh.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Way to tee that one up there for me. But yeah, no, if you look at the original or the reboot movies, the Kelvin series as they're called, because that's the first ship that gets destroyed in the first of the 3 2009 movies. The first one is not as Star Trek-y as it could be in the Gene Roddenberry sense of the term, but it is a fun action-adventure movie that doesn't take itself too seriously, has fun rebooting the continuity and giving us new versions of the characters, and can rely, in strong part, on the charisma of its leads to carry through any story beats that are a little iffy. Yeah. But it's not very Star Trek-y, which is fine for a prequel introduction film. The problem is the second that J.J. Abrams tried to introduce Star Trek-y elements, all he did was basically steal from previous movies that existed, like Wrath of Khan, and just basically remake those movies in his own weird puzzle box way, which made them inferior. It's the same problem with the Star Wars movies that he was introduced to. He wasn't interested in making new versions of the Star Wars continuity. He was just interested in taking things that he saw from previous movies and redoing them because he thinks that's what people want. He's not... Mm-hmm. He's got a good eye for direction, but let's face it, J.J. Abrams is not very creative.
No. J.J. Abrams is not an idea man.
No, he's not. No. He's the opposite. He
paired him with George Lucas.
So, but yeah, no, the Star Trek series franchise is going through some problems. I think they had a change of executive vice presidents overseeing this portion of it, and whoever it was, it's a female, but I'm terrible at names, so don't count on me for that. She saw where the franchise was at, the floundering of Discovery's first season, and only the minor recovery in the second. The complete shit show that Picard became. The fact that they had a bunch of different projects that were in production that may or may not even be good, like Section 31. And then the fact that they had 3 different ideas for movies that they were trying to do to continue the franchise after the 3 Kelvin films, none of which are working out right now. The first one was that one written and directed by the Fargo guy, Noah Hawley, or whatever his name is. Mm. That apparently was about a galactic pandemic that they decided to shelf because, reasons.
Pandemic.
Yeah. And then there was the Quentin Tarantino R-rated one that apparently Quentin Tarantino has become bored by the concept of it because he saw something else shiny, which is a very Tarantino thing to do. And then
Tarantino was also kind of like, oh wait, the studio's telling me what to do?
Yeah.
Fuck that.
Yeah, that's Tarantino. I can go do something else that's more interesting to me. And then you have the continuation of the Kelvin movies with the 4th one that became mired in the fact that the 2 Chris's, Pine and Hemsworth, that they want to bring back, both are worth a whole lot more money than they used to be, and CBS doesn't want to pay what they're worth. So all 3 of the movies are mired. Which is a shame
because they were both great.
Yeah. So
unfortunately, that's sad because I would have really liked to see both of them in a movie together.
I know.
Yeah, right? Especially playing father and son.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
Yeah. And that would have been a nice tie-up of the plotline from the first one, where because of the reboot, Kirk never got to have his father be there when he graduated out of the academy and became a captain. And that was a major plot point they raised, that originally Kirk had that. So by having him be able to travel back in time and see his father again, or have his father travel to the future and see him be a captain of a starship, that would have been like a nice unifying of that theme and a fulfillment of that to bring everything to a close there. Even if it was the last of the Kelvin movies, that would have been a good capper. So
I think what's really kind of stopping it, I mean, aside from the politics in Hollywood, but it's the Yelkin factor. They have nobody to they can't replace the character again because he died, right? And so it's
going to recast.
Yeah, exactly. So they kind of have to reboot everything again. So if we do a reboot, Hollywood, if you're listening, reboot it and kind of try to do the Kelvin thing instead of waiting 16 years. Let's try to do movies in a reasonable amount of time.
I think they're going to continue focusing on the main plot line. and just not touch Kelvin again unless it's like in a weird crossover episode or something. The things that they are continuing to focus on, Discovery is already done with its production on its 3rd season, so that's just going to be released because CBS needs to release it to make money. And the fact that COVID has stopped so much production on stuff, they're going to actually broadcast Discovery along with putting it on the CBS All Access app. So the 3rd season gets to go to TV because they need to make commercial money. But as far as I understand it, Section 31 is probably scrapped because they don't want to deal with it. The Christopher Pike-led Enterprise show, that's going to be a prequel to the main Enterprise show, the original series, that one's going to be called Strange New Worlds, and that's one of the few things they're apparently going to keep because everyone liked that Anson Mount's performance as Christopher Pike. And then the cartoon they have going on right now, Lower Decks, they're probably going to keep going because fans really like that one. But everything else that was in production, all the movies, everything else is going to be scrapped. And they're going to try and figure out something new to do with the franchise. So yeah, a reboot is on the table. Or if not a reboot, at least a slightly different perspective on what already exists right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll go another 100 years in the future and stop playing in the Next Generation's timeline.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah. That'd be good to see an Enterprise G or something.
Now, talking about spacey movies, the Dune movie is coming out. Now, I have never been a fan of the books of Dune, and I have never been a fan of the original series.
No.
So it's so effing boring. But
yes, it was.
You might like it. It is. They're doing a reboot, and you guys might know more about it.
Well, I don't know that much more about it. I'm with you. I tried to watch the original movie that Artur did. Fuck the weird guy.
It's not even worth remembering it.
David Lynch.
Yeah,
there we go.
Are you talking about David Lynch?
That's It's. I kept thinking
talking about.
Yeah, the weird guy. Come on, Josh.
I kept thinking of Scissorhands guy Tim Burton. I'm like, well, they kind of look the same from a distance. No, but David Lynch. There's an outtake right now. No, so I tried to watch the original movie as done by David Lynch, and wow, that's tedious. And then I tried to watch the mini-series that was on Sci-Fi for a little while there, and wow, that was
more tedious.
Yeah, that was tedious.
Tedious, yeah.
Yeah, it's all just tedious, and I'm sitting there going, is it the books themselves? Are the books just tedious and no one's noticed? So,
no, not that bad.
No, the books are tedious. They're
tedious. Not that bad.
No, they're that bad.
They're trying again. They're trying again. I don't know how many movies it's going to be to get through the whole story of Dunk. If you looked at the typography for the original poster, which was terrible.
Well, there are some things that are going to be better to watch than the Dune movie, but like Mandalorian season 2, that's coming out in October 2020.
Yep.
Jensen Ackles from Supernatural has joined The Boys.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Fucking amazing.
That's for
Soldier
season
Boy.
3. Yeah, that's for season
3. So that's going to be good.
Mm-hmm.
You have Witcher season 2, which is currently starting production, I think, in the next couple of months.
Yeah, I think they had to delay stuff.
Coming out in 2021.
They had to delay stuff for COVID, but then they got the team back together, and they're probably filming in Eastern Europe, and so they're producing that right now. That's going to be good.
Another sad note is that Altered Carbon got canceled. So if you were watching that, it has now officially been canceled. Yeah,
it wasn't that good.
Okay, fine. I liked it.
No, I liked the second season. Okay, we can touch on this for a second. I liked second season. I thought the second season with Anthony Mackie was better. That's a low bar to set when the first season was so crap. And then they put out the anime like almost immediately afterwards, and that anime movie was god awful. So, like, that's a really bad amount that they've managed to produce that's good versus what isn't. So I'm not necessarily sad that Altered Carbon was canceled.
Well, you're welcome to your wrong opinion.
I honestly don't even bother watching Netflix stuff anymore until season 3's out.
Oh well, yeah, because it's going to be canceled after season 3, and then you can just binge the whole thing. Yeah, that's fair.
And also, I hate unresolved plot, and it just seems that's what Netflix is starting to do.
That's what they do. Yeah, they do a season or two, and then they cancel it before a finale can be filmed, and then that's that, because that's the Netflix way. It is kind of irritating.
For those who are political nerds listening to our podcast,
I'm fine with them.
Spoiler alert: COVID-19 is still going on.
Is it?
And Black lives still do matter.
They do. And then we have the political conventions.
Exactly, the DNC and the RNC. And if you've bothered to watch them, spoiler alert, the Democrats want you to vote for them, and the Republicans think that America can be great again and again.
They feel like right now that the Republicans feel like right now America is in a very bad place. And if you let Joe Biden be in charge, he's going to ruin the country, which ignores the fact that for the last 4 years, the Republicans have been in charge of the country, and they've done a real shit job of it. So, like, all the things they're trying to terrorize us with in their commercials are the fault of the people in charge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all Obama's fault there, Mike.
As far as the Republicans go, he's not been in office for 4 fucking years. It's no longer his fault.
Come on. Just accept it's Obama's fault. I think Obama has really just kind of dropped the ball on being our president.
His secret cabal controlling the government as he goes windsurfing.
Like, I no joke saw on Facebook someone bitching about Obama and saying that he caused 9/11 to happen. And he was serious about it. I don't even think he was
a senator yet.
Wasn't he still just an alderman or something? Like, how the fuck did Obama do that?
Yes.
They said that it happened during his presidency, and there were people, like, agreeing with him. And I was like, I was in high school still. I guarantee you.
Yeah. Like Al Gore and fucking George Bush. Like, what the fuck,
Al Gore.
Guys? Huh?
Wrong one.
What'd I say?
Al Gore.
I thought, well, the around
Dick
that
Cheney.
time was the voting for it, wasn't it?
I think it was Bush and Dukakis at that time. Wasn't it?
No, 9/11 was 2001, so that was straight up George Bush. Yeah, so if you're gonna blame any Democrat for that, you have to blame either Bill Clinton or Al Gore. Because those were
where you're going with that.
Yeah, see, thank you.
I would have even thought Hillary was acceptable.
Yeah, Hillary. Now that is a horror movie I would watch. A first lady with a knife called Hillary. I would watch that.
Watch that. But I do have to give the Republicans credit for their intelligent use of making words sound something else, like Democrats and Hillary.
I caught clips of their Republican National Convention, and I just felt dumber for it. Like, I saw stuff from the Democrats, and, like, they actually managed to make their candidate, Biden, and, of course, his vice presidential candidate, along with Kamala Harris, look presidential, and like they cared, and like they had souls. But I watched the Republicans, and it's like they just lied a bunch, and then I felt dumber for even paying attention. Like, it's a tale of two different kinds of politics.
Yeah. Like, and like they don't even try to hide the fact that they don't even give a they think that their followers are just dumb, or they just know that they don't care because they're just voting on one topic, and it's we don't want the libertarians, we don't want the liberals to be happy.
The libtards.
So,
the
libtards.
Can we agree that the rules for president only apply to the Democratic side?
Yeah, no, it absolutely does. Yeah. The Republicans will hold everything the Democrats do against them, and the Democrats hold themselves to a high standard. But when roles are reversed, Republicans hold their candidates to absolutely no standards whatsoever and vote for them simply because of the fact that there's an R after the name. They don't give a shit about what they're going to do. All they want is to make sure abortion is illegal and that they get conservative judges. That is their whole platform.
Yep, pretty much.
And like they're starting to embrace the QAnon conspiracy stuff.
Oh my god.
Which has already been proven like countless times. There was some random like 15-year-old kid on 4chan that just made shit up.
They don't fucking care. The recent one with the guy who was shot in Kenosha, I'd probably say that, but Wisconsin, by the cops 7 times in the back, when he was just like maybe didn't even hear them and was just going to his car after breaking up a fight. That is at least his side of the story, and what the footage that's been filmed kind of indicates. He's being painted as a bad guy, just based on the fact that the cops had to shoot him. by the other side, the Republican side. And it's like, obviously the cop shot him because he was reaching for a knife or something, which there's no knife in his car. He was just getting into his car from what you see. And even if he was, you don't shoot a suspect 7 times in the back. Like,
the victim's name is Jacob Blake.
Thank you.
He's actually not dead.
Yeah, no,
he is paralyzed from the waist down.
Yeah.
He is currently chained to his hospital bed from the last thing I read.
Yeah.
Because the cops consider him dangerous. He didn't do anything.
He didn't do anything.
He was actually trying to stop a fight that was going on.
Yeah.
Saw that the cops were there, decided to turn to go back to his car with his children in the car.
Yeah.
And he was shot 7 times in the back.
Yeah.
This is absolutely unacceptable.
Yeah. And so the Republicans hold him up as a bad guy, and then the protests that broke out afterwards, because, fuck yeah, you need to protest that kind of shit. Some stupid kid with an AR-17 goes and shoots 2 people in the crowd, and he's held up as a vigilante hero, by the other side. He was just doing what was right for vigilantism. And it's like, 1, vigilantism is bad. How do you suddenly decide that it's not bad? And 2, he fucking shot people who didn't have weapons. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you people?
Yeah.
I can't.
I can't live in this society anymore.
God.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, I am sad.
Boggled. Yeah.
I'm sorry that I'm white. I really am. I'm sorry I'm white.
I'm Jewish. I'm holding on to that now. God damn it.
I'm pretty white.
I'm an Irish American. I am pale white. I'm really not white. I'm like glow in the dark.
You really are.
So I'm going to go with I'm not Caucasian anymore. When they ask me on the census, what color are you? I'm going to say I'm really, extremely glow in the dark. I'm not white. I refuse because it's taken on such a bad name, and I feel so bad. My last name happens to be white. Like it's just my last name, guys. I'm really not trying to be that. It's terrible. Humans are garbage. I'm sorry. Yeah. We really are. We're a terrible, terrible race.
Especially our last 4 years.
I mean, if we actually ate our young, I think we'd be better. I'm starting to think that, it's really, really bad out there, and Black lives do matter. And I will confess, at the very beginning of this whole Black Lives Matter movement 3-4 years ago, when it originally started, I was like going, okay, guys, let's all take a step back. I think this is getting a little out of hand, because I didn't realize what they were trying to do. And then you had all of these other protests going on, Blue Lives Matter, All Lives Matter, whatever. And then you actually find out that Black Lives Matter actually has a mission, actually has a goal, actually has a website, actually is something that pays taxes. And then everything else is just pandering to the racist stereotype.
Yeah.
And so
the Blue Lives Matter thing, like, I don't know a Blue Lives Matter person that doesn't support All Lives Matter and vice versa. Like, Blue Lives Matter shouldn't exist just based off of the logic that if you're saying that all lives matter, so you shouldn't specify a specific group of people, then you're invalidating your Blue Lives Matter argument immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it just, I don't know, it hurts my brain so much just to think about this. But I have noticed, and like, I'm a pacifist for the most part, and like, I don't like to see violence, I like to watch violence in movies, but I don't like when it impacts real people. But I am kind of a little happy that the left is becoming less tolerant towards that stuff. Like, I live on the south side near Greenwood, and there's a guy who has, like, every other weekend he has a sign that's like, the Democrats are going to kill all the babies, like literally stuff like that. Like, it's always awful. But somebody in the neighborhood, and whoever this man or woman is, I want to fund them doing something that they want to do, because they've taken it upon themselves. Every time that he puts a new yard sign up, they spray paint bootlicker on it, or fucking fascist, or and just it's
amazing.
It's so poetic.
I'm near one of the Planned Parenthood buildings. So every time we drive by there, I just want to, I want to create a sign on a big piece of cardboard that basically says, "This is stupid," and just stand out there with them and go, "This is stupid. This is stupid."
Man, that place always has.
They'll really get irritated by me.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Every time I drive by it, there's always there's like 2 or 3 people that just look.
Usually older gray-haired gentlemen or older gray-haired women, just all standing out there with, abortion is bad, blah, 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 pro-life, blah, blah, blah. And I don't, if I thought they really cared, I might give them, a modicum of, okay, I understand where you're coming from. But they don't really care because they're not interested in saving babies. They're interested in keeping poor people poor.
Yeah. Like they're just told by their puppet masters. And I sound I just realized that sounded like a conspiracy theorist.
We all know you are.
Josh. Wow, Josh. Jesus.
But it's just like, the right says, hey, abortions are bad because Jesus. But
because Jesus.
Which, okay, I get that a little bit. I can see the logic. It's scientifically not right,
but Jesus never talked about it whatsoever.
Well, there's that. That's obvious too. But like the thing is, like, you can't say that you're against abortion, but you're okay with the police killing people. You know?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like,
you're okay with you're not okay with abortion, but you're okay with children dying in the streets.
Yeah. You want people to have the babies, but you don't in any way, shape, or form want to create a social safety net that actually keeps the babies alive after they're born.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. And if we had that, I would be like, if we had, actual sex education and...
Yeah, if we could...
free birth control...
Abstinence, like all the things that you need to do to actually control it better. The abstinence plus that teaches people, sex itself is not something to be demonized. Just do it smartly and maybe do things other than the actual act itself that make you feel good to help lower the amount of times that you want to do that one thing that causes pregnancy. If you're going to do it, be on birth control, use condoms, do all the stuff that goes with it. If you're going to, there's a whole thing. If we're going to do it, and then, normalize the idea that, we'll support you governmentally if you get into a situation, but you want to have, you want to put it up for adoption afterwards. If you decide you're going to keep it, here's a social safety net to support you because you don't have the money to support the kid on your own. Let's give the kids as they're growing up a good education and good backing. And, it all comes down to full social safety net with universal basic income and everything else. These are the things we need if we actually cared about improving people's lives and supporting the kids that they're having. But that's not the actual platform. The platform is, it's religion and blah, 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 but fuck the poors.
Yeah.
Yeah. The second you're born, you're on your own, fucker. So...
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
I know at least 2/3 of us have 2 children that we've birthed into this world in some form or fashion. I'm sure, B, you did more work birthing your children than I did on mine. Arguably, but
did they spring from your forehead, Josh? Is that?
Well, technically, they sprang from something at one point. But
he's not wrong.
He's not technically speaking. Yeah.
But children are fucking expensive.
Yes, they are.
Well, yes, they are, and I still have mine living with me, Josh. So they continue to be expensive way after 18. I'm just saying.
But I mean, I love my kids. They're super cool for the most part. Sometimes they annoy me.
Only
but
you
at the same
monetize
time,
them.
I mean, I try to. I think I told you guys this, but Catherine was annoying me one day. Like, she was just having an off day. So, and she's 8 at the time. She was like 6 or 7. But I told her, I was like, if you keep annoying me, Catherine, and you don't do what we tell you to do, I'm going to sell you to a salt mine in South Dakota. And her immediate response was, "At least I'll be outside." Anyway,
they're gonna be outside.
Wow.
Also, another nerd news that is actually very political that I forgot about until just now, since we were talking about stuff. But because we were talking about the right, so I know, Mike, you're a pretty big gamer. I'm not sure about you, B, but this isn't like the type of game I typically play or would really care to talk about. But There's a new Call of Duty game coming out called Black Ops Cold War.
Okay.
Have you heard about that?
Nope.
So the trailer launched, I think, a couple days ago,
Okay.
and today's August 29th for reference for those who are listening. But the villain, from what the trailer looks like anyway, is Ronald Reagan, and he starts the game by having you, the character playing in Call of Duty, do war crimes throughout the Cold War.
I have an issue with this. Like, okay, you know what? I am happy that we as a society are starting to realize that, you know what? Reagan kind of sucked. So, because for a long time he was getting lionized, and then you go and you look at what he did, and you're like, no, he was really bad for this economy and this country and politically. So I'm okay with him being cast as the villain. That's fine. The issue I have, and this happens in Call of Duty, this happens in previous ones, where you get to play as, like, the Germans or as the other side, various military, like, sim campaigns and so forth. They glorify the act of war in such a way that when you do the war crimes, you still have to play them as a video game. Or they pretend that the political side of it doesn't matter in the case of, like, the Germans, where you're just fighting as their military, but they don't touch upon the fact that, you know what, the reason we were fighting the Germans is because they did some bad shit. So
Yep.
it's that video gamification of history that glosses over the things that make the people feel bad so that they can go forward and do atrocities and get their achievements for it. Like, I have a major issue with that.
Yeah,
I'll be honest with you. I've played Call of Duty many times, and I'm not really into the game itself, but I do like the multiplayer after, like, you guys can go and play against each other. I'm fine with shooting families. So, yeah, that's the only part of those games that I like is you play your own mode kind of thing and not really follow the story. Story doesn't really do anything for me.
Yeah, I haven't played enough to really comment on it, but I just thought it was pretty LOL.
Laugh out loud.
Yeah,
and you're talking about the Cold War one, or?
Yeah,
that's coming out now.
Kennedy. It's Kennedy that they send out.
No, it's Reagan.
I saw pictures. There's Reagan in there. Yeah,
mm-hmm.
Yeah. I did see. Now that you're mentioning it, I did see screenshots and a very lifelike looking Reagan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which, I mean, if it's someone just wearing Reagan's face as a mask, that's creepy and weird, but hey,
It's apparently, I mean, it's all CGI, but apparently it's supposed to be Reagan, which I'm happy with because I remember through high school and college, and even some now, like, Republicans are like, oh, he's the best. Everyone should strive to be like him.
Yeah.
And I was like, but he was, like, super racist.
He was. They don't talk about him as much now. They try and pretend that they're the party of Lincoln, even though the party of Lincoln has not been the party of Lincoln for like 60 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, you should look at what Lincoln did because...
the party of Lincoln right now is actually the Democrats.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it is. It is. Yeah. Yeah, we switched. We switched a while ago.
Yeah, because Lincoln really was a fan of big government.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it worked for him when he needed it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, he suspended the writ of habeas corpus for a while.
Yeah.
So you guys like that? All right.
But the main part of Lincoln is that he was super educated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Educated himself, elite. And then went and educated more, and then became a lawyer. And yeah, he's educated. That's something that we actually need for a president. Yeah. Anybody listening out there? Not the clown in chief.
Not someone who paid his sister to do all his homework for him.
Yeah, which I heard that I forget which college Trump graduated from, but apparently there's a bunch of professors that work there that are trying to
revoke his
degree.
Nice.
Well, one of his professors actually put on the record that he was the stupidest student he's ever had.
Which is amazing.
Oh my god. Anyway. Okay, do we have anything else, or are we good at this point?
I think we're good.
Awesome.
I think we're good.
Yeah. All right, well, this has been Not So Live from Asteroid G, a nerd news edition of it, straight from the news desk here on Asteroid G. I'm Mike Finkelstein.
I am now Mike Finkelstein.
Are you now?
I'm not a Finkelstein. I'm Queen Bee.
Are we like Spartacus? Are we all Mike Finkelstein?
I'm Mike Finkelstein.
No, I'm Mike Finkelstein.
I'm Negan.
Dude, that's... You can be
whatever.
Negan then. Yeah. And we will see you next time.